Hola, I'm Miss Nikki. Thanks for stopping by and checking out Spanish 1 for middle school. In this video, I want to show you what my classes look like, what I teach, how I teach, and then also I'll share how you can sign up for this class if it's the right fit for you and your student. If you're new to Outschool and you're not really sure what this class will look like and how all of that works, stay until the end so you can see how to sign up. All right, let's get started looking at what's inside Spanish 1 for middle school. What exactly is your child going to learn, and how do I teach it? Let's take a look. Okay, here is the curriculum for Spanish 1 for middle school. The nice thing about this class is you can enroll anytime, but I do have sections that start at different times of year. Typically, I start new classes in the summer, fall, and winter semesters. So, if you're looking to start with like the ABCs and really the basics, I would start with the preliminary lesson. And you can check on my Outschool page for where we're at with each unit, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So in the preliminary unit, we learn the alphabet, numbers, days of the week. We also learn weather and Spanish greetings and introductions. So how to say hello, how are you, good morning, how to say goodbye, see you later, and what's your name, where are you from, those kind of things. That's what we learn. And this lesson, the greetings and introductions, is something we do over several weeks. In each lesson, I'll only teach no more than 10 to 15 vocabulary words, but we do a lot of practice in between. So we might learn 3 to 5 words at a time, and then we'll do some practice with those words. So how do we do the practice? So let me show you this lesson, the Spanish greetings and introductions. I use a lot of pictures so students can see what the vocabulary looks like, and they see the Spanish and the English word. So we'll take notes on these first few words, and I tell students that I recommend making like a T chart, so they'll just draw a line down the middle of their paper, one side Spanish and the other side is English. That way they can practice later. They can quiz themselves by folding the paper in half and testing themselves like Spanish to English or English to Spanish. So we'll write down each of these words and then we will practice the pronunciation. We'll go through and we'll say hola, buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches. And then after that, if there's something grammatical that they might notice, like here you see the OS and the AS ending, I'll talk to them about why that is. So we learn some things like that in between. And then after that, we will do some practice on a website called Nearpod. So let me show you what these practice activities look like. Because in between the notes, I don't like just taking notes. So, of course, we don't just want to take notes the whole class. I want them to engage with the language. And we do this by building on the vocabulary little by little. First, we'll get exposure to the words. That's why we do take notes, so they can reference the notes when we are practicing and they don't feel caught off guard. That way, they have that exposure and they're building a little bit of a foundation, and that helps with their confidence with the language too. So they have that foundation, then we do some practice. After we do some practice, by just recognizing the words. So what I mean by recognition is they're going to see the English and the Spanish. Can they recognize which goes with which? Or maybe they'll recognize the words and we'll do like a circle game. So I'll say the word and they have to touch the picture or circle the picture on the screen in the Nearpod app or on Zoom. So those are some foundational ways to practice. Then we'll layer on and see, can they recall the word? So if I say the Spanish, can they recall the English? And then can they produce the word? I'll say the English, do they remember the Spanish? And then we'll practice speaking. So I don't want to just throw them in there and start speaking with them in Spanish. I want them to build that confidence, build that foundation, then we get to the speaking. So let me show you the Nearpod. I just wanted to interject with why I don't just take notes. We engage and it's interactive. So let's get back to the Nearpod. So this is the website Nearpod. I'm going to copy a link, and what happens is I'll share this link with the students on Zoom, and then they'll click the link. It brings up the Nearpod website, and they'll just type their first name. They don't have to put their last name. I'm the only one who sees this, but they can just type their first name or just a nickname, and then they click Join Lesson. And then they see on the screen what I have on my screen. So here, like when I go to the next slide, they'll see that too. Now let me show you what these activities look like that we'll do for them to review the vocabulary. This is called matching pairs. So with matching pairs, they'll just click the Spanish and then try to find what the English is. Good afternoon. And they just keep going until they finish all of them. So let's say they get it wrong. Let's say they match good evening with buenos dias. It'll give them another attempt, and they can do as many attempts as they need until they finish all of them. And then when they finish, it'll show you how many tries they did. It shows that to them. And then let's see another activity. Another activity is drag and drop, so they can practice again. And when they're practicing, I'll remind them. I'll say, okay, try to remember how you say the word. Try to remember what each one means without looking at your notes. Try to use your notes less and less as we go through these activities so you can try to remember the vocabulary. And then they'll click submit. And then on my side, it shows me their progress as well. So for the last slide here, it would show me when they're making those attempts and how many they've done. I want to show you guys one more activity that I like on Nearpod too, because as we progress, they'll do other activities on there. So let's say they've been in class with me for a while. This lesson, pretérito, is the past tense, one of the forms of past tense in Spanish. And I've been working with this group of kids for over a year now. And so we're really far along into Spanish 1 for middle school. And we only meet once a week. So they're doing great. But let me show you what this kind of advanced class would look like. This also gives you an idea of how far the students can come when they stay enrolled long term. So with the preterite, the past tense, I'll explain to them what each verb or what this means, what kind of grammar this is. And then we'll look at the preterite verb endings. These are AR preterite verbs. And of course, this is something we've built up to. This class kind of layers on. So this is drag and drop. We've already seen an activity like that. This is matching pairs. We've seen that. But another type of activity is like a fill in the blank. So I'm giving them something else to try. Here it's a little bit more advanced because they don't have like a word bank where they see the English as well. They have to know what those verb endings are. And the kids that I've been working with are doing really well with this because we've gradually built up to it. So they just have to put it in that white blank space. And then when they're done, they just click done and it shows them if they got all of the answers correct or not. And then on my side, it'll show me too. Sometimes it's a little delayed, so there you can see it. And then another thing on Nearpod that you can do is drawing. So there's all kinds of activities on here. So they could write their answers in. So they have to type or write it like this. Or if they want to use the text box tool, they could use that too. So there's like a text. So it goes like this. And then they can actually duplicate that. So that's just to give you guys an idea of what that looks like. And again, here you can see I can notice the progress on the teacher side. Now this is another matching pairs. This is something I just wanted to show them what Machu Picchu looked like in Peru because they're going to do like a fill in the blank reading. So this is what the answers are for the fill in the blank. And then this is what the students would see. So you can see like as the students have been in my class for a year, how much they've learned over that amount of time. And they're getting more and more advanced. They're going to be really prepared for high school Spanish. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about signing up for this class on Outschool. You can see the class schedule by clicking this button, but when you look at the class schedule, it's not going to tell you which unit we're on. So what you want to do is scroll down to the class description, and then we're going to scroll past these units. This is telling you preliminary unit, how much, what's taught in the preliminary unit, and then what's taught in Unit 1.1, Unit 1.2. So these are just going through the units. So we want to scroll past the units. And here it says upcoming brand new sessions. And note that these are listed in Chicago time, the Central Standard Time. And that's because that's where I'm based. So if you are on Eastern time, you would want to consider that it would be 12 p.m. for you. If you're on Pacific time, that would be 2 hours behind. So that would be 9 a.m. for you if it's 11 a.m. my time. Okay, so keep that in mind. And you can always use a time zone converter, or even if you go to Google and type in Chicago time to whichever time zone you're in. So you could say like Chicago time to New York time or Chicago time to Montana time. Okay, so these are the sessions that have not started yet. These are brand new, and they're coming up. And then there's some sessions that are still in the preliminary unit that just recently started. So you can check out and see when those are. Like if none of these times work for you and you want to join a class that is already in progress, maybe it already has a few students in it enrolled in it, then you could join one of these. Right now there's a class starting on Wednesday, and so this is a brand new class as well, but it's starting this week, so I put it down in this section. If your student has already learned the alphabet and Spanish greetings, they could start on Unit 1.1, and you see this group is on week 1 of Unit 1.1. And then there's other sections that are a little bit further ahead. So I put those sections in here as well. I've been working with these groups since the fall of 2021, so that's why they're listed below. But I still wanted to put them on here in case there are people who are interested in joining those groups, because there are some spaces available in those groups, and I know some students already know some of the basics, so those are an option too. If you need any help with choosing the correct time, do not hesitate to reach out. You can click Ask a Question. And if you don't see a time that is listed, you can go back up and request another time. So that's an option too. Please be aware that the sessions that are listed down here are listed as private. So you definitely need to message me and get a link for these because you won't see them on my class schedule. The reason I don't have them public is because some people accidentally sign up for this class and they think it's starting with the alphabet. That happens more often than not. So that's why I put them as private once they're past Unit 1.2. We had students join up through Unit 1.2 or even the first week of 2.1, and they're still okay with the lessons. Um, it does get a little bit more advanced as we move forward, but we're still learning the basics in Unit 1.1 and 1.2. So if you see like a time that you really kind of set on and that's the main time that works for you, don't hesitate to sign them up a little bit late, and I can always send you guys the materials that they have learned. So like I said, up through the first week of Unit 2.1, your student could probably still do okay. Just depends on, of course, their skill level and their confidence, their comfort level with joining a foreign language at that point. So keep those things in mind if you're going to choose a class that's in Unit 1.1, 1.2, or the first week of 2.1. You can check out the bottom here, see what other parents are saying about this class and why they like it. It'll show you more reviews and maybe you'll see something that resonates with you. You can also watch my intro video if you want to learn a little bit more about me. One more thing to note about this class is that it is an ongoing subscription. So when you sign up for it, you will be charged right away, but then for the upcoming classes, you'll be charged every Sunday for the next week. So if you do take the class and you need to cancel or change it, unsubscribe, whatever it may be, make sure you do it before the Sunday coming up so that you won't be charged again. And the nice thing about ongoing classes like this is that you can cancel at any time and it's very flexible. And then you can rejoin again later if you need to. All right, if you do have any questions at all, make sure to let me know. If you want to request another time that you don't see here, you can do that by clicking here, and then you can ask me questions by clicking here. Okay, take care. Thank you so much for staying until the end, and I hope to see your student inside Spanish 1 for middle school. Gracias, thank you, adios, hasta luego, goodbye, see you later.